Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching this webinar in the world. Welcome to the Business Boardroom. In this webinar, we're going to talk about building your business and setting the foundations in place. I speak to business owners on a weekly, if not daily basis that tell me they want to take their business to the next level. But in order to do that, you've got to have the foundations in place. And that's what we're going to go through in this webinar. Now, before we jump into the webinar, I'm going to give you 10 tips. And these 10 tips are things that you need to consider. Do you have a system and process in place? Are you implementing them within your business? So let's jump into those really quickly. So the first thing I want you to think about is, do you have a clear sales strategy? Are you maximizing revenue opportunities? Do you have a powerful brand? Are you crafted an identity so you're known for something? Do you have a strong customer base? Now, everyone always says to me, yep, we've got a customer base, but do you understand that customer base? Have you got partnerships in place for business growth? Do you understand effectively what your target audience is? Those are 5. Just take a moment, just think, do you have a system, process, a strategy in place for those 5? As I said, there are 10, so let's go over the next 5. So, do you have marketing tactics for sustainable growth? Now, this is a really important one. You hear lots of businesses that can fail even though they're profitable. And that's because they either implode or they haven't got the right cash flow management, which sort of leads us into number 7, as you can probably guess. Do you have the right financial planning and cash flow? If you're managing your business on your bank account, which 90% of business owners do, you need to stop. You need to get management accounts produced. And you need to understand your profit and loss. But we cover that off in the business boardroom. That's not a discussion for today. Are you leveraging technology for success? A clear example of this is AI. Are you using AI? Are you using CRM systems to maybe have less staff or automate systems and process? Do you have a winning sales team? Are your sales team engaged? Are they driven? Are they actually looking at ways to add extra value to transactions? And depending on your marketing sector, are you mastering online? Do you have sales and e-commerce online? So take a moment. If you haven't written those down, pause the video, write them down, think about moving your system. Maybe ask some of your staff members, what are we doing for each of these sections? Because remember, it's all about building your business. So let's move on. Who am I? Why am I here? So firstly, I'm a business owner like you. I've had many successes and many losses. It's actually the losses that decided for me to launch the Business Boardroom. Being a business owner can be very lonely. We don't know what we don't know. Most of us don't go and get degrees in business. We sort of learn on the job. And for me, we were doing great stuff when the tide turned and everything was going wrong. I had to find quick reasons and resources to grow and change our business. And that's where the Business Boardroom developed. So these are tried and tested methods. There's lots of education from more successful people than me. If you haven't checked us out yet, head over to the businessboardroom.co.uk. There's a free group on Facebook as well called the Business Boardroom. And also check out the YouTube channel. That's enough for now. Let's get on to building your business. So building your business has some pillars of success. Now, those 5 pillars are: you need to have a marketing system in place, a sales system, an operations, finance. It comes down to your mindset and attitude as well. Now, again, I like giving free resources. There's much free information I can give. You can head over to our website and you can download a document on 5 pillars of success. In here, we're going to cover up a few things. So, as I said, the 5 pillars of success, the first thing is marketing. Now, I speak to business owners all the time and tell me, I want to grow my business. I say, okay, what are you doing to market your business? And then they tell me they don't advertise. And that is just absolutely mind-blowing. I even had someone recently who had been, there was a retail shop and they had a customer in and the customer said, I didn't even know you existed. That shop had been there for 20 years. It's a retail shop, that customer's lived in the area, that shop's been there for 20 years and they didn't know it existed. Now, you're probably a business owner that wears that as a badge of honor. We don't advertise. Get that out of your mind. You need to spend money to grow your business. Now, there's a few ways you can do marketing. We can look at email marketing for automation. You can look at search engine optimization, which is SEO, On that one, I'm not going to dive into it in this webinar, but I think there's a lot of companies out there that do try to push SEO, and it's a long-term game, and it can change. So it's constantly evolving. So I don't think it should be most core strategy, but you should be implementing it. You might have a content marketing system. You might have a social media marketing system. Lots of business. Now, this is much better than SEO. You might have a pay-per-click advertising. This is where you're actually bidding to get in front of a customer you know is interested in your product. There's a few things you need to work around that to make it a real success. But as I say, these are just broad line. And then you've got referral marketing system. Think of your business for a moment, and you may not have that. You may have partnerships, you may have introducers, you might do flyers, for instance. There's a number of things you can do for marketing. As I say, I want you to think about building your business and setting a foundation. Of those 6 key marketing strategies I put in front of you, are you using any of them at the moment? Have a think. I want to give you an example of how you can use it. So in today's example, I'm going to look at email marketing. So email marketing is probably one of the best returns on investment you can get, provided you're doing it right. Now, you can go down the spamming route and look to spam 1 million people a day. I don't advise it. I don't recommend it. You end up getting your domain blacklisted. But there's a number of benefits to email marketing. So let's have a look at the benefits. So it's cost effective. You can reach a large audience with minimal cost. You can target it, sending personalized messages to customers in segments. So you might have, I'll use on this example, let's use a solicitor's practice. You might be targeting different customers for wills, litigation, personal injury, but you can target those in and put your customers into segments. Then we look at a high return on investment. Now, as I've already touched on, it's constantly ranked as one of the highest return on investment marketing strategies, because once you have the marketing system in place and you set it up, you don't have to go back to it very often and amend it. You do the work once. You get to build relationships with clients. You get to stay out of mind and nurture customer loyalty and measurable results. So you can track open rates, click-throughs, and conversions. Are you doing any of that at the moment? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. The next thing we need to think about, as I've already said, automation. So if we think back a moment, is, you know, I said about your cash flow and your cost. Well, you can have automation, so you know if they open the email, you send them another email if they haven't clicked the link. If they didn't open the email, you send them another. I'm working on an email campaign now where, you know, it's a 365-day communication system. I call it my win-back system. So if we lose a client, it goes into our win-back system, which we cover off in the business boardroom. And what that basically means, I've got marketing in the background constantly, because sometimes it's just hitting the client at the right time. But time you do hit them at the right time, because you've communicated with them, they know, like, and trust you. Now, what are ways to get email addresses? There's a load of ways to get email addresses. Again, you want them to opt in and be valued and actually want the information from you. So you can do lead magnets. You might have seen these on Facebook or social media where they offer a free resource guide in exchange for a sign up. Look at my spelling mistake there. We've actually got this on the business boardroom to give you an idea. As I've already touched on the beginning of this, the 5 pillars of success document. If you click on that, it will automatically email. Then you go into a sequence where we can build a relationship. You've got your website sign-up forms. Use pop-up banners or dedicated pages to collect emails. Now, dedicated pages to collect emails, you may have heard of funnel pages. These are great, and I think that the way the world is now, websites that are got loads of content rich will pull customers to them. But really, it's a very hard. Customers want the exact information. You've got to have precise targeting. Then you need to look at events and webinars. Like today, you've signed up to this webinar. We've collected your information as you've registered. And as you've registered, we've now got your opportunity to market to you. You can do social media promotions. Now, social media promotions and giveaways that require an email address are fantastic. What lots of people do, I'll give you a golden nugget on the webinar now. If you're going to run a competition or a giveaway on social media, lots of people do like this post, tag a friend, share. That's an instant hit. There's no value to that as you as a business owner. What you want to do is create them off social media, get their data, and then you can market to them. There's other clever things you can do, but we just want to keep it simple. There's other sessions for that. Referral programs, you could be looking at refer a friend, get subscriptions, discounts, or rewards. There's a really good analogy to this from referral programs, and that's gamifying, which can be really good depending on your industry and sector. And then, depending if you're a store-based, you can ask in person to gather their email address for a discount. You probably experienced that yourself, where you've been into a door and they said, if we into a shop, give us your email address, we give you 15% discount. Why? Because they know they can market to you and they understand what products and services you like. So that's marketing. Really simple. Rewind the video, the webinar later on, pause it, look at your marketing opportunities within your business. Are you consistently marketing every day to potentially gain a new customer or lead? Then what's next is sales. So I can't stress this enough, but sales is not a dirty word. Like sales and profit, business owners seem to shy away from saying it. But what you need to remember is without sales, you don't have a business. So if we rewind a second, I just mentioned that we have a win-back series. And I want to explain a win-back series for you in a lead and opportunity. So I'm going to bring a diagram up on screen now. I'm not going to go into too much depth in this diagram because it's very different for different businesses and it can be tailored to your business. So you need to think about what you're doing and how you add value. So let's bring up my win-back sequence. So here, so as a new lead comes in, you'll see in the top corner, we need to make contact with that opportunity ASAP. As you go down, you can see that have we made contact? Yes. Then we go into our presentation mode. Did it secure the sale? No. Then we move on to something else, etc. But if we didn't have contact, we send them an email, a WhatsApp message, a social media message. We're following up. Did we get contact? No. Then we're trying to contact the client again. And as you can see right on the edge over here, my lost in win back, email one, and it depends on what business we are and the life cycle of the client. As you can see where we're doing, you can go into add value. So pause for a moment. Now, I'm going to use a estate agent as an example. I spoke to an estate agent probably 2 weeks ago who said to me, Jamie, a win back wouldn't work. They're either going on the market or they're not. Well, that's not true. I work with estate agents. And what we come to realize is by adding value and giving information, that when the client did decide to move, because some people don't decide to move for 12 to 18 months, they get a valuation on their property because they're curious and then they don't think about it. The estate agents I work with, what they do is they put a win-back sequence in to provide local information and updates. So it will say, you had your valuation with us 12 months. We estimate house prices have gone up in the region by 3%, or other useful bits of information. The average time to sell a house in your region at the moment is this. And their conversion rate on people coming back to them to get a revaluation later on was strong. They didn't have any cost per acquisitions. They already paid it when they lost the lead, but they weren't going up against any other agents. So when that person was getting a valuation, there's just inviting that agent back out because they built no like and trust and credibility. So no matter what your product or service or industry, you will be able to take a win-back sequence in place. So you need to think of your marketing opportunities. Now we've looked at sales, how we maximize them. The next thing to build our business is operations. Now, it's an interesting one because I speak to lots of people, lots of business owners just starting out, and they go, I need to get my website done. I need to make sure I've got my email set up, my bank account, I need to get all my letterhead, my business cards done. The first thing you need to understand is sales comes before operations. We say again, sales before operations, because if you've got sales coming in, you can employ operations. Admittedly, that can take time and delayed, and we don't want to implode, but if you've got a perfect operation but you've got no customers, you haven't got a business. Remember, without sales, you don't have a business. So sales before operations. So what can you do in operations that make things easier for you, especially in today's today's day and age, what's available out there. So, are you automating invoicing billing? There's loads of software out there to do it. We have a software company that can help you do it. If you're not doing it, do reach out to us or do reach out to your accountant and see what's available to you. How many hours per week would that save you? And what would you do with those hours? Invest in getting more clients. As I've said, a CRM system. You cannot put a value on a CRM system. It should, if you have a CRM system that's costing you money, there's something wrong, because you should be looking to add value to your customer journey, first of all, but also how do you maximize your revenue opportunities? When you've got the correct CRM system in place, that means you can look at your data, you can create reports. Reports are great. You don't want to get analysis paralysis, but you can identify issues before they happen and trends, and you can move forward. Now, depending on what sort of business you are, you might need an inventory management system to control stock and fulfillment. I went to a business on Tuesday who we asked about management accounts, multi-million-pound organization. Said, we don't do management account. I said, okay, what have you got in stock? Oh, we don't know. We've been trading for 40 years. Okay, so where's your stock room? They're now working on their stock room to understand what actually stock they need, because we was in that room for about 40 minutes and they've got lots of stock that are identified that they don't even use anymore, where other parts of the industry still use them so they can actually sell that and get some cash back into the bank, as opposed to it just sitting on the shelf. Order fulfillment and logistics, again, depending on your industry and sector. Performance tracking reporting. You need to understand your business and key performance indicators. What gets measured gets managed. You need to understand that. Let me say it again. What gets measured gets managed. So if you haven't got KPIs, look what KPIs are in your industry. Understand what you need to know to grow and build your business. Your financial forecasting and budgeting, you can get help. Now, lots of people say to me when I say, how profitable? Oh, I don't know, my accountant tells me. No. While your accountant can understand and help you be creative and make you tax efficient, it's your job to know your numbers. You're the business owner. Now, that even if you've got a chief financial officer, or you've got an in-house accountant or bookkeeper, you still need to understand your numbers. Spend an hour learning, because once you understand them and you've got a better handle on your business, you'll make better financial decisions. Now, onboarding employees and training is one of the best things you can do. The more empowered you can make your staff feel and make them actually involved in the business, the better results you will get. Okay, so think about your customer. Are your employees going the extra mile, or is it getting to 5:30 and by 5:25 they're putting their coat on, ready to go out the door? If a customer rings, they're cutting them short. You want them to be empowered to build your business. Then we want to look at customer feedback and support. Are you getting Google reviews or Trustpilot reviews? Are you getting honest feedback from customers? Do you understand their pain points? Are you speaking to them about their pain points? So, understanding, let's recap. We're looking at marketing so far, we looked at sales, and we looked at operations. Now, I'm only covering the basics because this is the foundations. And as we grow your business, you need to build the foundation stronger and deeper. But we need that base level to start with. So the next thing we need to understand is finances. I've already covered off that you can have a really profitable business, but you can go pop because of cash flow management. So are you budgeting and have financial planning? Management accounts. I can't stress it enough. Do you have cash flow management? Expense tracking. Now, expense tracking is an interesting one, because I'm going to give you an example of what accountants like to do, or business. If you purchase a business, you go in and you try to strip costs. You need to understand the value of something. It doesn't necessarily have to return a pound. So I'll give you an example. There was a famous hotel, I don't know its name, in London. It used to have concierge service that opened the door, let you in and out, or bellboys if you're in America. And the hotel got bought out, and they were spending about 80 to 100,000 pounds a year on employees just to open the door for people. The hotel got bought out. They changed the doors to automatic doors, made them redundant, save 100 grand. But it didn't actually save £100,000 because when people purchased the hotel, it was all part of the experience and the feel. So because they wasn't getting that person to open the door, greeting them, wishing them how their day was, it lost that luxury feel. So what happened then is the price point of the hotel come down, which actually lost them more than 100. So understanding expenses doesn't necessarily mean let's drill down and save as much money as possible, because we need to understand the value on being returned. Revenue forecasting is it's a very interesting one. Most people don't actually forecast their revenue, but once you know what revenue you're expecting and what should be coming in, what should be going out, you'll be able to plan better, employ, grow, market, because you understand what's going in now. Now, one question I've got for all business owners, and be honest with yourself, is do you understand a profit and loss statement? You may not, you may do. If you don't, it's okay. I think Richard Branson was in a board meeting before where he openly says, after running a multi-billion-pound organization, he didn't understand the difference between gross profit and net profit. Now, Richard Branson is a different breed to most. I'm sure you'll agree, but you need to understand your numbers and what the difference is. Do you understand your break-even point? What needs to happen per month? And do you target yourself that you want to happen that by a certain time within the month to take the pressure off? Or are you like most business owners who have a little bit of a runway? It gets the payroll and it looks all the VAT returns, and you're stressing to try pulling money in. There's a great book, if you haven't read it yet, called Profit First. That book teaches you how to, when a pound comes in, to move that money into different pots, because once the money's out of sight, it's out of mind, and I'm sure it'll help you with management. You need to, I'm not going to cover financial reporting or transparency, but I am going to make the investments and asset management so important. You need to first invest in yourself and your business. I hear people say to me all the time, oh, Jamie, I want to learn about, I want to do social media, but I've tried and it doesn't work. Okay, what have you done to learn it? Oh, nothing. I've just given it a go. You need to invest time and money in yourself and the business to help you grow. If you're not investing time, how do you expect to get to the next level? You've invested time this evening or this morning or this afternoon, depending where you are in the world, to sit on this webinar. I've covered off quite a bit so far in little chunks, because as I say, we're only going to get the foundations and we're going to build upon it from there. Finance is quite deep, so let's move on to mindset. Mindset's hard, but I want to give you a little thought. So have you ever been really nervous of a scenario and you get that feeling in your stomach that's like, oh, I'm anxious, I don't know how to feel it? Think of that feeling for a second. Think of a moment when you've had that feeling to help you really feel it. Now, let's flip it on its head. Have you thought of a moment when you've been really excited, really pleased, or just can't wait to do something? Think about it. It's exactly the same feeling. It's how our brain reads that information and we digest it and how we react to it. So it's a great thing. I always think I use it personally. If I'm nervous about something, if I'm about to go on stage or meet someone or do something, and I get that feeling, I think, oh, I go instantly think, well, it's exactly the same feeling as excitement. I should be excited about this moment. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to tackle the challenge. And your mindset is so important. Now, Henry Ford once said, if you think you can do a thing or you think you can't do a thing, you're right, which is a true statement. Don't get me wrong. There are things that we can't do. For instance, we can't fly, but then we've had the airplane, so we can fly. So we need to understand that our mindset is our limiting belief. And it's hard. We're conditioned as human beings from the day that we go to school, that we're conditioned and we're judged based on how we can recall information in exams. That doesn't define you or set who you are. Who you are and your determination and what you want to do, that defines you. So let's look at mindset. You need to be resilient. You need to develop the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. That is easier said than done. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a setback today, going home, having a glass of wine, having a bath, a shower, whatever it may be, being a bit down and a bit upset, But as soon as we hit tomorrow, it's a new day. What can we do to turn this around? What did we do wrong yesterday? How did we get overwhelmed? Now, long-term thinking, we need to think with the end in mind. So an analogy that someone gave me who's a very successful entrepreneur when I was younger was, and I was starting out, think of the game of rugby. Now, I'm based in Wales, for those who can tell from my lovely Welsh accent. And it's our game that we won't get into it too much, but where do we aim for the ball when we're trying to score? Do we aim just above the bar or way above the bar? If we aim way above that bar and we fall short, it doesn't matter. We've still converted. So you need to aim high. Think of your long-term gains. Because I'll give you another example, actually, a better example for everyone. Do we ever get in our car every day and just drive? Would you have a destination in mind? Imagine getting into your car now with nowhere to go and you just drive. Where do you think you'd end up? You'd end up in the same vicinity. You won't actually move or progress anywhere. You'd probably be within a mile or two where you started out. But if you get in your car and set the sat nav to a destination, you might have roadworks on the way. You might have some hiccups, car breaks down, run out of fuel. But you know where that destination is. You know how to get there. We create a plan. It's the same in business. You've got to have long-term thinking, people. Now, as I covered off already, you might start the journey, you get roadworks. You need to adapt. You need to change. You need to be willing to learn and move forward and grow. Problem-solving mentality is, I speak to business owners all the time, and someone's called in sick. Oh, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. The world, how are we going to struggle? No one's died. Let's just take a minute. Let's think of a plan. How do we move forward? By just taking that breath and thinking and changing that mindset, I guarantee you'll see results. Decision making. This is one that I always feel that is a bit difficult because we don't know what we don't know. And you need to trust your instincts and make decisions swiftly. And that means don't sit on things for months. I always have a soundboard. So I like to make quick decisions because ultimately, as long as no one's life is at risk or health or anything, I think that no matter what, as long as we can backpedal pretty quickly and adapt and see it's not working. But I always have a soundboard. I always ask somebody else what they think if I have to. Now, having clarity of vision, be clear of your long-term goals and steps you need to take to get there. Think of this as your destination. We'll have ups and downs if you know where you want to get to in the business. I speak to lots of business owners who go, let me keep that there, but I want to start a business. I want to earn X amount. Okay. I want to retire by the age of 40 or 60 or whatever it may be, or I want to sell the business. But okay, what do we need to do to get there? What needs to happen? Most don't have a plan. If you haven't got a plan in mind, what you want to happen with the business, you haven't give that to your sales team or your team that help run the business. How are you empowering them? They're not empowered towards a goal. So you need to understand that having a clear vision of where your goal is and how you're going to get there, because that will make the complete difference within your business. So let's jump back here. You've got to be disciplined. I'm very impressed with people that love to run or do the Ironman because, you speak to them and they can have a lovely piece of cake in front of them. I like cake, as you can tell. And they won't eat it because it's not treat day, or cheat day, as they like to call it, because they're disciplined. They've got a focus in mind. But you've also got to enjoy things as well. So you've got to think of your long-term goals. How do we get there? What needs to happen? And because otherwise the motivation fades, as it says on screen, And then the last thing really with mindset is, this is probably the most important thing in business and in life. It's accountability. You've got to take full responsibility for your outcomes. Now, if your business is doing well, that's down to you. If it's doing bad, it's down to you. If an employee doesn't turn up, that's down to you. If someone doesn't do, it's your responsibility to ensure that the business is moving in the direction that you need it to. Not want it to, that you need it to. See that shift in words? Because with discipline, we're clear on a vision, This is our goal. In order to hit that goal, we need to do X, Y, and Z. So if something's going wrong, it's your fault. Take ownership, and you'll be surprised when you're taking the blame for stuff that's not necessarily your fault, that you find a solution to fix it so it doesn't happen again. Do you remember this? If you think you can do a thing or you think you can't do a thing, you're right. Self-belief. Trust your abilities to lead and grow your business. Now, that doesn't mean that you know all the answers and you're going to get it right, or that you can afford to get it right. But you need to have a little bit of faith in your abilities to lead and grow. You've started a business for a reason. You may be a better number two than you are a better number one. So that might mean employing somebody to be that number one within the business and you be the number two, because you understand what your abilities and skill sets are. So you just need to deeper dive into that. But that's what the Business Boardroom's here to help. So what is the Business Boardroom? So put this in clear terms. I'm not here to sell to you. We are basically a platform for business owners that want to start, build, or scale their business. We have an online training platform. As you can see here, we've got guides on mastering Facebook lead maps, sense checking business, how to be profitable on LinkedIn, business plans. It's basically a community of business owners wanting you to succeed. So the real next thing is we've sort of covered off to grow a business. There's 5 elements that we've covered off. They've covered off some of them already. But you need to invest time and money. So the next slide I'm going to skip, because as I'm talking to you, I think that you've sort of understood that we don't know what we don't know. In order to get to the next step, we need to grow as individuals. So I'm going to skip the next step because you need to invest time and you need to invest money. Now, I'm also going to skip that page as well, because I'm not going to offer that on this webinar. Think about for a second. Most of us start a business for different reasons. It could be we want more time. We have a passion for what we're doing. It might be we want to make more money. But ultimately, being a business owner is not easy. And you take a lot of risk. So you should be rewarded for risk, because, you're putting your family at risk, your personal credit profile, your home, could be your car, your mental well-being. So you need to, if you're in business, for me, I think there needs to be a financial reward. So I want you to think about how much money do you want to make over the next 12 months. Now, maybe you're looking to make the extra £500 a month. You might be looking to make an extra £5,000 a month, or even £10,000 a month. The real question you need to ask yourself is, do you have the knowledge, system, and processes to get you to the next stage? I'm guessing you don't, because you're on this webinar. Now, you might be 90% the way there and don't know how to implement. You could be a number of different ways. You could be you're scared, you need coaching or help. It could be so many different things. You're overwhelmed. If you're overwhelmed, if you're looking for the resources, take my advice, look a lot of videos on YouTube, but really to see growth, you need to take action and have accountability. Go to the Business Boardroom's website, log in, start building your business. If you've got any questions, any queries, or I can help in any way, reach out to me on social media. But for now, I'm not going to do any questions or answers. Do reach out to me via social media or email, and I'll do my best to answer. For now, take care. Have a good evening. Bye.